and every confidence that you will hear us as we place our leaders and all of us who serve this wonderful people. We pray, Lord, that we will be guided indeed by your principles of justice, righteousness, and compassion. Grant us the strength, Father, and the courage to make decisions that will benefit our businesses and our citizens and, of course, generations to come. And may we uphold the values of our nation in all we do. Grant us, Lord, this day your choicest blessings, Father. Throughout the proceedings, may we find your presence as it rests, remain, and abide with us. We pray, Lord, that your love and grace will prevail in all that we do. And we ask all these things and more through the precious name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. Please be seated. Thank you so very much, Latoya Richards Franklin, Acting Chief Technical Director, who could certainly be a reverend, if you ask me. Beautiful prayer. We receive all of those blessings. Thank you so very much again. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Mrs. Sansia Bennett Templar, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Ms. Carissa Ribeiro, Chief of Operations, who is deputizing for Ms. Natasha Marzolf, IDB Group Country Representative. Dr. David Lowe, Managing Director, Development Bank of Jamaica. Dr. Wayne Henry, Director General, Planning Institute of Jamaica. Ms. Lisha Delati-Bodair, Director General, Statistical Institute of Jamaica. Mr. Andre Gooden, Manager, Group Business Development, who is deputizing for Dr. Marlene Street Forest, who is the Managing Director, Jamaica Stock Exchange. Mr. Marlon Johnson, Senior Programs Director, Heart NSTA Trust, who is deputizing for Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, Managing Director of Heart NSTA Trust. Mr. Dwayne Haynes, Head of the MSME Division and Chairman of the Project Steering Committee. Other heads of agencies, Dr. Kevin Brown, President of the University of Technology. Mr. Perrin Gale, Executive Vice President, Retail Banking Division, who is representing Mr. Bruce Bowen, Group CEO of NCB. Mrs. Gillian Hyde, Deputy Managing Director, JN Group. Mr. Peter Thompson, Executive Director, Jamaica 4-H Clubs. Presidents, CEOs of private sector associations, the VVVVIPs, the micro, the small, and the medium-sized businesses in attendance, our partners, sponsors, media practitioners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, those of you in person and online, good morning. I think we can do a much better job than that. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. And welcome to the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce's MSMEs Linkages Day. It's a big deal. We are a big deal. Could I see a show of hands if you represent whether micro, small, or a medium business? Can I see your hands? Just touch the person to your right and say, I'm a big deal. For many of us who are in entrepreneurship, many of us didn't even want to be entrepreneurs. Most of us stumbled into it because of circumstances and situations. And many of us, when we started out, I can speak for myself, you are customer service, you are administration, you are scheduling, you are making the product, you are printing the package, you are printing the label, you are putting on the label, you are sales, you are marketing, you are social media manager, you are driver, you are everything. So I don't want us to come into this space and because of the size of our businesses, act as if we are small fries, because we are a big deal. And for many of us, we might have one employee like myself, and I consider him my chief of staff even though he's just chief of himself. And when we have our staff meetings and we bring up conversations or issues about money, I put on my CFO hat. And when we're talking about policy, I take off the CFO hat and I put on my HR hat. And when we're talking about pushing and doing things, I have to put on my marketing hat. So when we talk about micro and small and medium, we're talking about an agile, an adaptable, a resilient, a tenacious, an audacious group of people who, no matter what hits them, they just simply will not stay down. We are here to recognize you, we're here to celebrate you, but we're also here to ensure that you're in the space where you can continue to collaborate in order to grow. Are we good? Are we excited? So I'm going to just say one more time, welcome to the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce's MSMEs Linkages Day. Very nice. And so the person who has been charged to deliver the official welcome and opening remarks is our Permanent Secretary, Sansia Bennett-Templar. Please make her welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I should not really have to say very much after that fantastic introduction by Dr. Terry Carell-Johnson. You agree with me on that? All right. So I greet Dr. Terry Carell-Johnson, the Master of Ceremonies for this event. I welcome especially the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Prime Minister, it is our delight to have you here with us this morning, sir. My Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator the Honorable Auburn Hill. And I have to recognize our main partner for this event, the IDB, Ms. Carissa Ribeiro, representing Ms. Natasha Barzal, the head of IDB, the country representative for IDB in Jamaica. Beyond that, we have a long list of dignitaries. I am going to adopt the rest of the salutations that would have been made by our Master of Ceremonies, except that I have to give a special welcome and shout out to the big deals, all of those MSMEs who are here with us today. We're here because of you. Let me also just recognize as well the media. Thank you so much for being here and for carrying our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's Business Ministry, it is my distinct pleasure to warmly welcome you to the MSME Linkages Day, a gathering designed especially for our entrepreneurs and change makers. To every MSME owner and representative who made the time to be here today, thank you. Your presence is a testament to your commitment to continued growth, innovation, and nation building. I also extend sincere appreciation to our many sponsors and development partners. Your support makes these events possible. Today is about celebrating Jamaica's MSMEs, the backbone of our economy, and showcasing the many businesses that have chosen to grow and expand with the support of the ministry and our agencies and partners. Participating today are participants in JAMPRO's Export Max program, a flagship initiative which has equipped over 145 MSMEs to drive export growth and strengthen Jamaica's global competitiveness. We are also proud of the participation of our artisans who entered our Craft and Coffee Quality Awards showcase, demonstrating the best of Jamaican creativity and innovation. And of course, there are the MSMEs who have competed in our MSME Business Roadshow pitch competitions, including the finalists in the Master Pitch competition, which was held on Friday. The winners will be announced today. They'll have a chance to receive their grand prize from our Prime Minister and our Minister. And I understand that they brought their best A game to the competition. So well done to all of our Masters Pitch competition participants. Through the MSME roadshows, which we have delivered in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank and our many sponsors, we have undertaken 8 roadshows across Jamaica. We have engaged over 2,000 MSMEs, delivering vital services and opportunities directly where our MSMEs operate. We have awarded $17.6 million in cash prizes to 62 MSMEs. We have mobilized the 20 agencies of this ministry to meet with our MSMEs where they work. We have showcased technology companies from the MSME Tech Hub, and we have provided exhibition space for over 300 local enterprises. Today marks a recognition and appreciation of the journey of many of the MSMEs here today, businesses that have taken advantage of the various programs and support services offered by the government of Jamaica and others as they take their businesses to new heights, and today is another important step forward. Throughout today, you will again see the support of the ministry, its agencies, and its partners in action. From the results of the Masters Pitch competition, where the winner and runner-up will win $1 million and $500,000 respectively, to additional grants of over $1 million in services being offered by our agencies, the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, and the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office. You will also benefit from engaging panel discussions on export and financing, and a special presentation by the Jamaica Stock Exchange on the planned micro market. And very, very importantly, you will be able to expand your market opportunities by meeting with prospective buyers. Today, however, goes beyond the activities we will do here. Most importantly, today is about activation, forging meaningful connections, linkages that will help our MSMEs grow, innovate, access new markets, and build sustainable wealth. And let me take just one moment to mention one of the participants in our pitch competition, Tamika Smith of Tamika TS Beauty and Spa. When she won in the pitch competition and we had a discussion with her, I was very struck by her words. She said, "Beyond the grand prize, this opportunity has given me confidence, confidence in myself, confidence in my business. I now understand and believe that I don't have just a dibby-dibby business. I am an entrepreneur in Jamaica." So I encourage all of our MSMEs who are here to make the most of today. Visit the booths, ask questions, network, and tap into the full range of opportunities available to you. Our 20 agencies and departments deliver over 75 services to the MSME sector and businesses across Jamaica. And we work hand in hand with key partners, from the Heart Trust NTA to the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Development Bank of Jamaica, one of our main sponsors of our business pitch competition, RADA, who comes out to our events, especially in the rural areas, the Jamaica Stock Exchange, a trusted partner, the IDB, our title sponsor and major partner, the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, the Small Business Association, the MSME Alliance, just to name a few. Together, we are building an MSME sector that is stronger, more competitive, and ready to thrive, both at home and on the global stage. From concept to market, Jamaica's Business Ministry stands with you, our MSMEs, ready to bring your vision to life and help you grow your business. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of Jamaica's growth story. Let's have a productive day. Thank you.
Another round of applause for our PS, Sansia Bennett-Templar. I think we can all agree, and this is statistical, that MSMEs are the backbone of global economies. When you're looking at job creation, it's the MSMEs. When you look at innovation and creativity and talent, it is the MSMEs. What you usually hear that they're lacking is either formalization of their business, access to market, access to capital, access to resources. And therefore, while I heard the PS speaking, she mentioned that some $17.6 million was injected into MSMEs, and I never hear one applause. Not one. Which for many is access to capital. And then she spoke about agencies who left people, agents left from their offices and went and found MSMEs wherever they are, because they understand for many to leave their business, to go in to do business can cripple the business of an MSME. So they made sure they met you guys where they were, and they carried capacity building, training, mentorship, financiers. And now we're giving away $1 million grant to the winner of the Master Business Pitch Competition and $500,000 to the runner-up. Whoever wins or comes second, I've been your bestie and I've been supporting you all your life. But thank you so very much, PS, for setting the record straight and just reminding us of all the work and the commitment of the Ministry of Business. And speaking of the Ministry of Business, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator the Honorable Albin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, aka Minister of Business. Now, impact can't be done without collaborators, without partners, without people who buy into your vision. And this particular partner has been on board since inception, since the concept, and has stayed with the ministry all the way to the execution. We now welcome Ms. Carissa Ribeiro, Chief of Operations, who is deputizing for Ms. Natasha Marsalt, IDB Group Country Representative. Please make her welcome.
Hello, everybody. Well, I'm very touchable about the speech I have here so far. I'm new in the country, and I hunger to see what I see here today. Outside, we hear a lot of creativity of the Jamaicans, how they can produce things for nothing, and I can see that here. So before I go to the protocolar thing, I want to say thank you for that experience so far. So go back to the protocol. I want to say Dr. Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, Senator Honorable Hobby Hill, a friend, a colleague, a partner, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Ms. Sanshi Templar, Permanent Secretary of Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Ms. Andrew Gonden, on behalf of Merlin Forest, Managing Director, Jamaica Stock Exchange, David Lowe, it's too high, like that? Okay, thank you for that. Okay, Dr. David Lowe, Managing Director of Developed Bank of Jamaica. Dr. Kevin Brown, President of UNTEC, heads of the agencies, partners, media, and importantly, the MSMEs that are here to participate in this event. Good morning. Thank you. It's a privilege to be here at the University of Technology. We come together to support the growth of Jamaicans' business at the MSME Linkage Day. On behalf of the Inter-America Development Bank, I'd like to express our pleasure in being part of this event. We take the progress progression of Jamaican's economy seriously, and we recognize that this cannot be achieved without the expansion of its macro, small, and business enterprises. This is why we did not hesitate to be here and to once again partner with the country leaders on another impactful venture that supports Jamaicans' firms. Jamaicans are known for their entrepreneurial spirit and resilience. It is therefore not surprising that MSMEs are the backbone of this island's economy, representing 98% of registered business, accounting for up to 83% of national employment, and contributing around 29% of GDP. According to the latest economic and social survey conducted by PIOG in 2023, there is special concentrate in sectors such as wholesale and retail trade, followed closely by real estate, renting, and other business activities, sectors that are closely linked to livelihood, job creations, and local economy activities. MSMEs are also a driving force behind personal economic advancement, social mobility, and innovation across the country. From our experience, speaking to those firms, we are seeing that they represent the very fabric of the social and are essential to build a better future. It is increasingly evident that while many SMSE demonstrate tremendous potential, critical challenges continue to constrain their growth and contribution to the broader economy. These include difficulty turning ideas into market-real products, limited access to finance, and struggle with digital transformation and regulatory compliance. These challenges call for coordination policies, target support, and sustained investment to unlock the sector's full potential and drive inclusion economic growth. Just to give you some context and motivation why we are doing a lot of things here in the country, we provide a comprehensive and integrated approach, one that includes financial, technical assistance, and economic and ecosystem strengthening and policy dialogue. A central pillar of our support is the boosting innovation, growth, and entrepreneurs ecosystem we call BIGI, and you can see there are some snapshot of the program. We put $25 million initiative financed by us, executed by Development Bank of Jamaica, and grant our international partner, European Union. To date, over 1,400 SMSEs and 50 ecosystems institutions having received direct assistance under the program. The beneficiary SMSEs recording an average of 20 increase in sales. BIGI has had a real impact and has played a key role in the expansion of several SMSEs. Through BIGI, we support 8 national SMSEs roadshow, as Ms. Sanchez was saying. These engage over 2,000 SMSEs, including 1,800 attendees and 250 exhibitors in SME Village, and still more to come. Beyond BIGI, the IDB Group approach brings together the complementary strengths of IDB, IDB Lab, and IDB Invest to ensure that business of all sizes, from macro enterprise to early stage startup and large corporates, have the tools and environment that they need to thrive. Looking ahead, IDB Group will continue to leverage its strengths to catalyze great private sector participation and deliver integrated public-private solutions across the group. In partnership with the government of Jamaica and other stakeholders, the IDB Group will deepen support for MSMEs in 3 key areas: strengthening the national quality infrastructure for competitiveness and green growth, supporting policy framework in the areas of SMEs, entrepreneurship, and service sectors. As we are here in the academic environment, I want to recommend one of our publications, and I really recommend that. You just download in our page. Are you there yet? The Path Towards Sustainable Economic Growth in the Caribbean. Its compliance, years of IDB research, and key regional challenges such as low productivity, limited innovation, and weak firm linkages, especially for the SMEs. The report also outlined structural barriers to access market, finance, and knowledge networks. To close, I would like to reiterate that IDB is proud to be partnered with Jamaica in building a more integrated and dynamic ecosystems where SMSEs can expand in a sustainable way. Thanks to MIIC for convening this event and for its continuity, leadership in fostering a dynamic and inclusive SMEs sectors in Jamaica. To the Jamaica's SMEs, you are central to the country development. Your creativity and commitment continue to power local economies and strengthen national competitiveness. Thank you again and enjoy the event.
Thank you so very much. Another round of applause. Carissa Ribeiro representing IDB definitely mentioned a lot of numbers and a lot of stats. I had my phone on the side calculating. Did you hear how much money the IDB injected or made available for initiatives? Did you hear what she said? Anybody? 25 million US. And when you convert that to JMDs, what? Enough. Whole heap. $3.9 billion. And if you actually listened to what she was saying, it really goes to show that they're not just talking the talk, but they're walking the walk, not with just money, but financial capacity building, technical knowledge, and policy. So we want to thank IDB for being that kind of partner. Thank you so very much. So our next speaker for the morning is a man who, if you've ever heard him speak about business and MSMEs, he's always extremely passionate. He believes that there is nobody better than us, nobody who can create better than us, and that all we need to be is scalable, expandable, and exportable, right? That we need to be able to export. So ladies and gentlemen, bringing his ministerial remarks, I welcome Senator the Honorable Auburn Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment, and Commerce. Please make him welcome.
What an absolutely beautiful room. Look at our MSMEs, look around, look at all our absolutely young entrepreneurs. There are a few others in there, but we won't pick them out. I am so happy to see you all here. And Dr. Terry Carell Johnson, thank you for being such a consistent supporter of the MSME business, the road shows, everything we tend to do. And of course, this morning we've had, I don't know, I'll tell you in my speech, 8, 10, whatever road shows we've had. This morning, we are very privileged to have Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness as our guest speaker to greet you all who make sure our economy works so well. You're going to clap him again when he comes up, but give him a special round of applause for being with us this morning. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Mrs. Sansia Bennett-Templer, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce. You've heard her. We worked together, we conceptualized this, put it together, and it has worked for our people extremely well. Thank you so much, PS. Ms. Carissa Ribeiro, Chief of Operations, and she's deputizing for Ms. Natasha Marzolf, who is the head of the IDB group and the country representative in Jamaica. The IDB is a major and formation partner of this roadshow activity. Dr. David Lowe, new to be the Managing Director of Development Bank of Jamaica, but already we've met him many times, and his teams have always been here from the beginning as well. DBJ has been a major supporter of our roadshows. Miss Lisha Delatier Boudier, and I think you've just taken over. Where are you? You've just taken over at Staten. Happy to have you here. Mr. Andre Gooden, Manager of Group Business Development, who is deputizing for Dr. Marlene Street Forrest of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Mr. Marlon Johnson, Senior Program Director at Heart Trust and NSTA, again sitting in for Dr. Tanisha Ingleton. Other heads of agencies, all our agencies are here. I see them right up here in the front. You will hear from them later on in the morning. Dr. Kevin Brown, President of the University of Technology. Dr. Brown, thank you so much for lending us your facility and for being such a leader in thinking and how we change industry and manufacturing in Jamaica. Mr. Perrin Gale, who is the Executive Vice President of Retail Banking, who is a representative of Mr. Bruce Boyne, but most importantly, Mr. Perrin Gale is from Southfield, St. Elizabeth, where I am from and where I grew up. Perrin, glad to have you here with us, and good to see you. Mrs. Gillian Hyde, Deputy Managing Director of the JN Group. Mr. Peter Thompson, Executive Director of the 4-H Club. JN Group has been a wonderful sponsor of ours. 4-H Club has been with us, heads of private associations. I see Mr. Sidney Thwaites here and his Vice President. All micro, small and medium-sized businesses in attendance, and our sponsors, IDB, Heart Trust and STA, DBJ, Staten, BSJ, JIPO, and JBDX. JBDC, sorry, media practitioners. I went through that list because I want to get all the Prime Minister's speaking time. I've gone through that list. But we want to also recognize all those who are participants in this. And therefore, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my very great pleasure to be here today at the University of Technology, a hub of innovation and learning. I'm pleased to be here as the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's Business Ministry, for MSME Linkages Day. Very happy to be here with all of you. Linkages are really a very strong part of our thriving economy. We often, these outcomes from all that you do can be quite unprecedentedly great. Sometimes you don't plan it, but you get together, you meet a partner here, and off a new business starts. We're happy to have you here. So with strong linkages, deliberate linkages, our businesses can reach their full potential and our nation can achieve really true greatness. I'm speaking about linkages among MSME businesses and big companies like Wysinco, Grace Kennedy, of course, Barita Cornerstone, Caribbean Broilers, Fontana, and many others. MSMEs, businesses, you must go to business. They're not going to come looking for you. Unfortunately, that's not how life is. You need to go to Grace and say, Mr. James, Mr. Frank James, you are doing this kind of delivery. Why are you doing that? I can do it better than you. You are making sauces I have all the agreements. I'm much more nimble. Give me the job. Let me outsource this for you. Go to Wisynco and you say, look, you're making all these creative drinks. I have a new formula that you want to talk to, and I can deliver some. And you go to the big companies and get their business. That's how people get business from Amazon. That's how they get business from Microsoft. We have to do the same thing. We, meaning you and us, MSMEs, have to do the same thing. Go look the business from these big companies. That's why I'm pushing linkages so much. I'm also talking about linkages between sectors, such as agriculture and tourism. I know the Prime Minister has been pushing this. You'll probably hear some of it in his speech. Tourism and transport, the local entertainment sector and tourism. Yes, our local entertainers must go and make their pitch. Make sure your product is reliable and consistent, so when they book you, you don't tell them 2 weeks into the 3-month booking that you really can't do it again. That can't work. So we have to pull up our socks and get the business, go look for it. And many other sectors can link. Where some linkages exist already, these relationships must be burnished, enhanced, and expanded significantly. When I joined the ministry, I realized that, like when I was running NCB, most entrepreneurs and persons in the MSME sector would not generally come into the bank. As I often say, the bank people have them dress. Some of them have fancy dress and pretty handbag and high heel shoes, and farmers don't walk into those places so easily. So some of our agencies are like that. So I realized that, so I said to the PS, we're taking our agencies on the road. Every single one of the 21 of them are here. And the heads of agencies are here. They hear what you don't know. Sometimes they can say to you, you know, we have that. But they also get to hear, I came to your shop and the place squeezed, I can't get people, they don't respond to me, and they begin to change. That's why we take the agencies on the road to see you. So go and talk to them and tell them what you need. Listen to me, it's not only complaint, you know. If you have some complaint, me know you're going to deliver. But every now and again something work right, you can tell them too, so that they can improve and spread it. So we are here with you to make sure that work. We have had road shows in 8 different parishes: Manchester, St. James, St. Anne's, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland, engaging 2,000 MSME businesses, 2,100 individual entrepreneurs. And you know something? MSME has a great economy to work in. The PM, I'm sure, will tell you a great deal about that, the macro numbers, but I just want you to pick out 2. I want you to understand that the high net international reserve, which was about 5.878 billion in April, is necessary to keep our currency stable. You don't want a currency like 10 years ago. Every day the currency fluctuates up and down, and you used to hear on the radio every month, oh, we only have 6 months of money left to buy goods, or 1 year of money left. When was the last time in the 5-7 years have you ever heard a discussion that we only have so much money to buy so many months of goods? That time gone. Nobody talk about any money anymore, because this Andrew Holness administration has made sure we take the money in, we use it wisely, we have it to strengthen our international reserve so that your currency can be strong, so you don't every month have to see the raise in prices through inflation. That's why we do it. Clap, man, how you mean? You think it comes so easy? So, I want you to recognize, and the boss man who gave me the little job is sitting down there, so but it's not to placate him. I am telling you the truth as a financial professional. Good government matters. Don't worry, tell me how things are go well. And you think, say, it going to happen just by chance. I live in St. Elizabeth, near to Treasure Beach. And when I go down to the beach, I have never seen a fish that stings from the tail. The fish stings from the head. So if the fish is well done, looked after properly, you have to give the head some credit. Good government matters. And I want you to recognize that. And we have a good record. You're seeing the direct results of the Holness administration, which works for all Jamaicans. Coming from a place where most any economist writing about the country in 2012 to 2016 period would invariably refer to Jamaica as a basket case. This is not guessing. This is what the economists used to write. We're a basket case. No, the International Monetary Fund and the European Union Parliament last week have both lauded Jamaica's enviable track record, recognizing our disciplined approach and the agile response to global shocks, whether that was a 100-year pandemic or very last year. We deal with it and we get through it, all of us, because good government matters. Jamaica is now the poster child that showcases how a small, non-oil producing country develop and use the economic managerial expertise to turn the country from a debt-ridden, unstable currency regime and an unable to raise capital developing country into the internationally accepted poster child as to how to turn such a non-oil producing country around, turn it around completely from what was then where we were to what we are now. You need to understand that by Prime Minister Holness, it's a master stroke by him and the team that he led that has brought us to the place where Jamaica is the poster child. And when we met the FATF people who took us off the grey list, where they said, well, things are not so right in Jamaica. We worked for about 3 years to take it off. And I want to give the company's office, Miss Shelley Leon and her team, raise your hand here, Shelley, because you took a lot of you carried the heavy weight of dealing with, you carried that weight when they want to find out exactly who owned the shares. Shelley and our lawyers at the ministry did all that work, working with the Bank of Jamaica, working with the Ministry of Finance, was on the phone constantly with then Minister Nigel Clark, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Justice, all coming together so that Jamaica could get off that grey list. And you know what the lady from the OECD told us? That we did so well to get ourselves off, that they're going to use our method of getting off as a model elsewhere. That is a major compliment. So use our ministries. Make sure you are working with them. The agencies are here to help you, to make sure we get the business of growth in Jamaica. Jamaica's special economic zone is going to happen. Very soon, Prime Minister is going to do another opening of 50, 60 acres we're going to build out down there. Tell you more about it. JIFSA, the Jamaica International Financial Services Authority, is now going to enable and support high-level financial services coming into the country. We've passed the segregated account already in the Senate and the lower house. We're now going to do the partnership account for limited and general partnership so that we give them the legal ecosystem in which to build a financial services on which we must get significant growth. So, ladies and gentlemen, happy to see you here, but I want you to look at one last piece of data, the productive input relief. People ask me, what are we doing for businesses? Well, we have something called the productive input relief. It's significant. Let's say you want to start a drinks business. You want to import 5 or 6 mixers. We at the ministry, working with the customs agency of the Ministry of Finance, will make sure you do not pay any duty and similar rates on these imports, because we want you to set up your business, so we forgive the import duty and the import tax that come with it. And let me tell you what that has meant, not just for small, but big and small. In 2021, 2022, we gave back. We've, in other words, allowed people to import stuff without the tax, and the amount of tax we forgave was 109.3 billion, not million, billion Jamaican dollars. In 2022-23, it was 88.5 billion. In 23-24, 78.5 billion. 24-25, 80.2 billion. Let me tell you how important it is. A mining company was importing a piece of equipment for $2 million US dollars. By the time they get to the productive input relief, we gave them, we allowed them to avoid taxes of about 500,000 US dollars. Now, when you clap, no man, the people get money and you don't want to clap. This is what we're going to do. So we were able to give back that productive input relief, and that goes not just to big people, but every single manufacturer. And we want to make sure that you understand, as I look at the MSME, in addition to what we're going to give today, and what we give through the Bureau of Standards and free testing of your goods, we will have spent 20 million Jamaican dollars in just gifts, prizes, from pitches, from the ministry to MSMEs. We are out there supporting our MSMEs. So, make sure when you get your million today from the Prime Minister, we're all very happy to be here with you. We want to make sure you understand where this is going. I've been pushing exports all along. I've taken 10 business missions overseas to United States, Guyana, Costa Rica, Costa Rica, all these places, Colombia.
No, man, you guys need to big up Deshaun. I mean, sometimes it's the simple things. He might have had a little technical difficulty, but it's not how you start, really. It's how you finish. And he was able to just figure it out, show us that he has 10 lungs, which is fantastic for him. And he chose 2 of the best songs that you could ever choose. I mean, how do you go wrong with Jimmy Cliff? Another round of applause for Deshaun Fender. And we hope that if you're putting on any events, that certainly you would consider him when you're doing so. And so now we move to the keynote address. And it's always a little bit difficult introducing this gentleman simply because he keeps on adding stuff to his profile. When we think about a transformative leader, then this gentleman comes to mind. When you think about someone who has a vision, who is a visionary, but then backs it up with strategy by making sure that there is execution, you think about this gentleman. When you think about good governance and policy making, especially as it relates to MSMEs, you think about this gentleman. When you think about advocacy, not just in job creation and economic growth, but across health and housing, you think about this gentleman. And if that is not enough, you then find out that he went and he got his PhD, and you wonder how, when? And then you realize that he just assumed chairmanship of CARICOM, and where Jamaica just became, he was under the spotlight, right? All roads led to Jamaica, and everybody in the world wanted to look at Jamaica and this leader as the host of the CARICOM meeting that we saw. And if that is not enough, we will see him run at 5 o'clock in the morning and do amazing 5Ks, and then 2 hours later, we will see him handing over homes or speaking to old ladies in the lanes. The old ladies always hugging him up in and always dancing with him. And you wonder, but how? It can only be because he is driven, that he is committed not just to the role he has, but to the people who he serves. It is obvious that he is motivated by the ideas that he has. And of course, he is known as just being that, a committed, visionary, transformative leader who is now our keynote speaker for today. In his very busy schedule, we would like to welcome Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, our keynote speaker.
Thank you very much, please. Thank you, Terry, for those wonderful words. Allow me to be very brief with the salutations. Suffice to recognize my Minister of Industry and Commerce, Bishop Aubin Hill, and all nice and decent people in attendance. Good morning. It is a great pleasure to be with you today as we celebrate the extraordinary dynamism and ingenuity of Jamaica's entrepreneurs at this important MSME Linkages Day. Today, we do more than celebrate your resilience and ingenuity. We recommit ourselves to building an economy that works for you, but more important, that works because of you. Let me begin by expressing profound appreciation to the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce and its 20 portfolio agencies, and our valued partners in the private sector and the international community. You are driving the kind of transformation that secures inclusive, export-driven, and opportunity-rich growth. Today's theme, accelerating MSME wealth creation through increased exports, linkages, business development, and access to financing, is timely and urgent. It aligns with our national strategy for resilience, economic diversification, and higher productivity. But as we look to the future, we must be honest about the past, Jamaica's entrepreneurial landscape still bears the scars of one of the most painful chapters in our economic history, the financial sector meltdown of the 1990s and the FinSAC intervention. This was over 30 years ago. And I would venture to say, by observation of the audience, that at least 30% of this audience was not born or were children at the time. And I would venture to say that maybe 70% of this audience would maybe have knowledge but not fully understand and appreciate the profoundly devastating impact of that era on the Jamaican economy. History doesn't start at the point of your birth. And we must always bring the history to bear to understand the current challenges that we have. Every challenge that you face today has its root in a decision taken days or years before. And so to be able to provide the solution to your current problems, you must have an understanding as to the series of decisions that led up to your current challenges, so that you don't repeat those bad decisions again. So why am I bringing this up now to entrepreneurs? Well, FinSAC not only saddled the country with a mountain of debt that has taken us nearly 30 years to recover from, and this is a point that entrepreneurs should really internalize. 30 years ago, our debt to GDP ratio was about 70%. It is only since this fiscal year that Jamaica has returned to the 70% average of 68.7%. It took us 30 years. So that's just on debt. But it also broke the spirit of entrepreneurism in our country. Thousands of small and medium enterprises were wiped out overnight. Generations of family-owned businesses built on sacrifice and sweat were lost in a minute. Many business owners faced unbearable distress. And again, for those who were not around at that time, business owners even took their lives. And others lost everything they had worked for. And so from that experience, why would anyone take the risk of starting a business, or borrowing money, or hiring staff, and dealing with uncertainty, when government paper was yielding returns of 30% and upwards per annum? The reward for innovation was drowned by the false comfort of high interest rates and financial speculation. So, ladies and gentlemen, the FinSAC era set back the culture of entrepreneurship in Jamaica by decades. But it wasn't only that. There was an unrelenting assault on people who were involved in business, where business people were viewed as exploiters, called capitalists. If you were trying to earn a profit, somehow it was a dirty word. And so, unwittingly, by high debt, by creating an environment of high interest rate where people didn't have to innovate, they could just lend money to the government and the government paid them back high interest rate, which they paid back by taxing the poor, which is why one member of parliament who is in the clergy had to comment in parliament, a government member of parliament, that that era represented the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. That explains why I stand here today and why Minister Hill has to be such a strong advocate, almost like a missionary, in trying to get back a culture of entrepreneurship in Jamaica. If you listen to how Minister Hill talks, it is as if he is preaching and trying to convert souls into entrepreneurship. That's why I'm standing here today. There are those who will believe I'm making a political point. Of course I am. But if you stop there, you would miss the importance of the point being made. And the point that is being made is that the Jamaican economy, the Jamaican society cannot grow unless its entrepreneurial class grows. Unless we have people who are willing to mobilize capital, labor, technology, management, creativity, and put them together in an ecosystem to create value and to make a profit. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is how economies grow. But it works even better if we create the kind of entrepreneur who is also empathetic. So they are not just mobilizing capital, labor, technology, human resources, creativity for profit, but they are doing it in a sustainable and socially conscious way. That is the kind of entrepreneur that we want to create. We want to create the entrepreneurs that sees the problems in the society and say, I will find a solution for it. That is the entrepreneur that Minister Hill is trying to create. We were well on our way in the 80s, early 90s, and then FinSAC. it is just now that we are starting to see a resurgence of entrepreneurism. The purpose of the roadshows that we're doing and all of these is to recognize you. It's to acknowledge you. It's to tell you how important an agent of economic development you are. We have long recognized that true economic transformation begins not in the boardroom or government buildings, but with our people, the entrepreneurs and innovators who see potential in the face of obstacles. Entrepreneurs are nation builders, and the MSMEs are the foundation. MSMEs are the backbone of Jamaica's economy. They represent over 90% of all enterprises, employ 60 to 70% of the workforce, contribute 44% of GDP, and accounted for nearly 12% of total tax revenues last year. If we are serious about building a resilient, productive, and inclusive economy, we must continue to bet on our entrepreneurs. And that is exactly what this government has been doing. Over the past 9 years, our government has placed entrepreneurship at the heart of national policy. Through the MSME Business Roadshow, we have brought business development support directly to the people, touching over 2,000 MSMEs across 8 parishes, issuing $17.6 million in grant. That's too little, Minister. We have to double that. You have to double that. And linking entrepreneurs with financing, digital platforms, and training opportunities. With the next roadshow scheduled for Manchester, our mission continues to democratize access to support, catalyze business formation, and encourage a national culture of enterprise. And it's working. We are seeing the entrepreneurial culture take root. Between January and July this year alone, over 9,000 business names and 3,000 companies were registered. Jamaicans are no longer waiting on a job, they are creating one. We measure this statistic quite regularly. And, I'm certain the company's office is here. I don't recall the actual statistics, but I know that almost 20,000 new businesses have been created in the last 10 years. Amazing. And that didn't happen by itself. Yes, a large part of it would have been organic. But the government has been very deliberate, very instrumental, very direct, very hands-on in promoting this idea of enterprise, industry, and entrepreneurism. There are those who may not readily see the value of what the ministry does in this regard. But if we are able to get students graduating to start to have this mindset that the products I consume, I can also produce. If we start to move the veil of almost, we see the iPhones and the fancy gadgets and all the products we consume, and our children are not always thinking that we can produce this. We see the consumer value. And so we become only consumers. The entrepreneur sees the product value, the market opportunity, and says we can create the value for others to consume. That is the mindset change that needs to happen in Jamaica. We need to move from seeing ourselves as purely consumers which is as a result of our history, where we were disconnected from the value we created because of the system of slavery and plantation economy, to being owners of the value we create and trade it. And that is why we have taken this very instrumental, this very direct approach to creating entrepreneurs. So, we know, however, that being an entrepreneur can be very difficult. We know that starting a business is only the beginning. Survival and success depends on productivity. And improving productivity means improving systems, skills, and technologies that drive the performance of the enterprise. And that is why we have invested heavily in training and digitization. Through the Digital Jamaica program financed by the European Union, we are equipping over 2,700 MSMEs with the tools and skills to thrive in the digital economy. Already, 962 businesses and 1,156 individuals have been trained, and 3 business transition centers established. Through initiatives like the Jamaica Business Gateway, we have brought over 130 government processes online, allowing entrepreneurs to apply for permits, licenses, and incentives with efficiency and transparency. We are also modernizing our national quality infrastructure, whether through the work of the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, the National Certification Body of Jamaica, or the Bureau of Standards. We are helping businesses meet international standards, ensuring that Jamaican goods and services are not just world-class, but globally competitive. We are actively pushing Jamaican businesses into new markets. Our Export Max program has supported 141 businesses to scale up exports, achieving remarkable growth in revenue and job creation, even during the pandemic. Through 10 ministerial trade missions, we have connected nearly 300 Jamaican companies with global buyers across 12 cities, generating more than 600 high-value business leads. In the last 18 months alone, our export facilitation efforts engaged over 250 inactive exporters, reigniting their potential and helping them to re-enter the global marketplace. Beyond traditional exports, we are investing in new industries. You know, we are always self-congratulatory on our incredible creativity as a people, particularly in the arts, music, and in sports as well. And for good reason, the evidence is there. Jimmy Cliff made this song, Many Rivers to Cross. I believe it would have been somewhere in maybe 1969, thereabout. There are some persons who believe that Jimmy Cliff would have made a version of the song, meaning he wasn't the original author producer of the song. No, that song was made by Jimmy Cliff. He wrote the song and he sang it. That is the original. If you listen to the words of the song, that song stands on any global platform with any of the best music made in the world. In terms of lyrics, in terms of message, in terms of arrangement, in terms of its emotive power. In fact, all the songs on that album did very well. That is the power of our creativity. The question is, how do you monetize that? It is being monetized every single day. Somebody is playing it, some royalties are driven from it. But is that the only creativity that we have? No, we have it almost flowing like a river. Is it always of the best quality? Is it always meaningful? Is it always edifying? Is it solving a social problem that we have? Is it giving us the motivation? Is it setting the backdrop of our growth and development as the theme? So there needs to be entrepreneurs, if you would call it, who step into the creative space and create the industry around our creativity, the enterprises around our creativity. And that is why the government of Jamaica established the Film Fund. And this would probably be the first time that any government would have taken up $1 billion and established a fund for the creative enterprise. We have done it for film, and we are actively considering other areas of creativity to which we can give this level of support. So for the Jamaica Screen Development Initiative, we have approved $668 million, which will soon be disbursed to local productions in film, with 91 MSMEs scheduled to receive this support. This is a priority sector, film, because of its inherent value to our national culture and its growth potential based on the strength of brand Jamaica. So we are promoting and supporting our entrepreneurs in the creative space, starting with film. In technology, creative industries, agribusiness, and wellness, we are building new pillars of growth. Through Export Jamaica and Export Academy, we are ensuring that Jamaican businesses, large and small, can identify new markets, understand trade rules, and compete with confidence. We understand that no matter how strong the idea or committed the entrepreneur, growth cannot happen without capital. And that is why this government has prioritized improving access to financing for the MSMEs. The Exim Bank has dispersed nearly $10 billion in MSME loans since 2021. The DBJ has supported lending with a $2 billion facility, and we have eliminated upfront fees by allowing MSMEs to roll them into the principal, making it easier for small businesses to borrow and grow. We have also endorsed the Jamaica Stock Exchange micromarket, which will unlock equity financing of up to $50 million for hundreds of small enterprises. These are real tools, real lifelines for real businesses across the country. We are also deepening our commitment to broadening access to finance through capital market innovations. The junior market, launched by the Jamaica Stock Exchange in 2009, and I remember the debates around this. Again, policy is so important. Minister Shaw could be considered, former Minister Shaw could be considered the father of this. And there was a time when economic policy advice was that, you know, maybe it had reached its useful life, maybe its existence would be distortionary, and we should end it. There was actually that contemplation. But we thought long and hard about it, and we looked at what was the bigger policy intent. And the bigger policy intent is to support the development of entrepreneurs and businesses, and the stock exchange, particularly the junior stock exchange, provided an excellent window for small businesses to access equity as opposed to debt. And so we supported its continuation because of the bigger picture consideration. So the junior stock exchange has grown from a capitalization in 2009 of $785 million to now over $148 billion, empowering MSMEs to raise equity, benefit from tax incentives, and gain critical investor visibility. 56 companies have listed on the junior stock exchange since its inception. We have raised the IPO threshold for the junior market from 500 million to 750 million, ensuring that even more ambitious enterprises can grow while retaining the supportive framework that has made this platform such a success. Building further on the success, we are supporting the establishment of the micro market designed specifically for smaller enterprises seeking to raise between $10 million and $50 million. These initiatives are transforming our stock exchange into a powerful engine of entrepreneurial growth, democratizing access to capital and allowing businesses at every stage to scale with confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister Hill spoke about linkages. And linkages are an important strategy of the government. And I wanted to give some insight into the government's economic policy centered around linkages. There are several schools of economic growth theory as to how countries grow. And for some, the traditional theories which inform traditional policy would be about the ability of the country to mobilize, as I said earlier, capital, labor, management, technology, and the supporting regulatory environment. But there is another school of thought which looks at capability. It's the school of thought that looks at the complex nature of the economy. And that school of thought essentially says that the more complex your economy is, the faster and more sustainable is its growth. So this idea of complexity means that the economy has a fairly well-integrated supply chain, essentially. And it has the capability of producing goods that are fairly, to use the word, sophisticated, but they are not ubiquitous, meaning that they are not products that everybody else can produce and they're all over. So Jamaica has to pivot, shift its economic policy to creating goods that are of higher value, greater sophistication, but not everybody else is producing it. we need to create a more complex economy. Now, how that complexity is created, yes, the regulatory framework, yes, the government policy, but it really depends on the ideas that come from the entrepreneurs. Complex ideas in IPOs, particularly for creativity, I know we have that. Our culture is liked, but not always easy to replicate. So we will maintain our advantage there. Some will say, not if you listen to Afrobeats. And if you're not careful. But it means that the entrepreneurs in that space need to start stepping up their game with the creativity of their lyrics and what they're doing. But so it is with many of our other products that we produce. Whether it is in agriculture or in manufacturing, there has to be a greater level of sophistication in what we're doing. And that can only come from the entrepreneurs. Because it is the entrepreneurs that will see the gap, see the solution, take the risk, and innovate. You see how important you are today? What we are trying to do is to stimulate more entrepreneurs in the society. And so I was happy to hear that you have a pitch competition where the entrepreneurs come with their best ideas and they are going to be rewarded. Minister Hill, is that the case? Minister Hill, 1 million for the winner is not enough. We have to put a little bit more in it. What you say, 2? So, Minister Hill will have to tell you. The Minister Hill will tell you. No, but, so, yeah, we definitely want more entrepreneurs coming in. And yes, the incentives are good. And we will do our part in promoting. But the objective is to have the entrepreneur develop organically. So we are going to create this ecosystem, and we are hoping to see more of our local people come up with ideas and solutions to problems. We will help you to figure out how to monetize it. Right? Now, just my final words. You want a complex economy, but what you don't want is a complicated economy. And Jamaica has started on a pathway of complication. Before we even build the economy, we have smothered it with all kinds of regulations and procedures and all kinds of things that is so dense and heavy that it is a burden on entrepreneurism to rise. Now, this is not an argument against compliance. This is a recognition that we have complicated our economy to the point where it is an obstacle to growth. And therefore, we have to declutter, in many instances, deregulate, and simplify the ecosystem in which the entrepreneur can grow and thrive. And that is what this government is committed to doing. So I want you to know that in my administration, that I administer on your behalf, you have a friend, you have someone who understands business, who is business friendly, who supports enterprise, and who will structure policies to ensure that Jamaica will grow. And so I thank you all for choosing Jamaica. God bless you.
Let us hear it for our Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, our keynote speaker. Fantastically said. Now, I just want to be very clear, because I heard my Prime Minister say that $1 million wasn't enough. I just want to know, because I was side of stage, so I just want to know if I heard what you heard and you heard what I heard. And then, if I am not mistaken, because I was side of stage, I believe our Minister of Business stood up and he did this. No. No. I want to know if it is saying 2 million, if it is saying deuces, or if it is saying choose Jamaica. I really don't know. 2 million, is that what the minister meant? I will wait for the minister to confirm that. As I was listening, yes, yes. 2 million. 2 million today. No, I just want to make sure. That's $2 million today. I feel like running, skipping, praise the Lord. He has set my spirit. All right, you guys, listen. I just want to remind you that Bishop Aubin Hill is not the only person who knows how to preach around here. As our PM was speaking, and he was actually talking about the economic crisis in the 1990s, I wouldn't know about it because I wasn't born yet. But is who said right? This is not up for a debate, yes? But here are my key takeaways from the Prime Minister's presentation a while ago. Number one, what we are trying to do is build an economy that works for you because of you. A country cannot grow unless its entrepreneur grows. We need to have the mindset, even from our primary school and our prep school, that we can be creators as opposed to being consumers, that we can identify problems that are impacting communities and we can be the ones who provide the solution, whether through service or whether through product. That when we want our businesses, we need our businesses to be profitable, and there is absolutely no shame in that. If it is not profitable, then how can it be viable? If it is not viable, how can we continue to employ people and have the business going? But it must be sustainable, and we must be conscious environmentally as well as socially. And lastly, he spoke about the spirit of entrepreneurship, that our entrepreneurs nowadays days, we're not waiting for things to drop in our lap. What we're doing is we're creating and we're displaying our value and our excellence regardless. So I want to thank you, PM, for reminding us that we can't do this all by ourselves. We need to do this together. And I appreciate the 360 approach, where it's not just take the money and go about your business, but let us actually train you to understand how to do business better. Again, we could not have had a better keynote speaker for this morning. Thank you so very much. So we heard about the road shows, we heard about the pitch competitions. We understand that today we are going to identify, recognize, and celebrate our winner and of course our runner-up. So what was the Masters Business Pitch Competition all about, and how did we get to this point? I invite Dr. Dwayne Haynes, head of the MSME division and chairman of the Project Steering Committee, to deliver the overview. Please make him welcome.
Speaking it into being. Prime Minister, Minister, our Permanent Secretary, colleagues all. We had a total of 22 MSMEs from across the island competing for a chance to win $2 million in cash grant, with the runner-up receiving $1 million to support their business expansion. all MSMEs would have met our minimum requirements, such as they must be in business for at least a year. They must be a Jamaican registered company. They must have a management team, and they must not have no more than 5 employees. No less than 5 employees, sorry. The Masters Business Pitch Competition participants were assessed on the following criteria: export readiness, business proposal and projections, their level of business growth and development since winning the business pitch competition, the clarity of their business pitch. Our participants consisted of MSMEs ranging from agriculture, agro-processing and the fisheries sector, educational services sector, arts, craft, entertainment and recreational services sector, accommodation and food services sector, information and communication services sector, professional and technical services sector, and of course, the manufacturing sector. Since winning the business pitch competition, our MSMEs have started exporting. All MSMEs have started exporting. All participating MSMEs would have also either expanded, added new products or service offerings, increased their staff complement and production, and or have added a new location. 3 MSMEs would have already benefited from or have been enrolled in JAMPRO's Export Max program. Another 4 are slated to be enrolled in the next cohort of the Export Max program. Others would have benefited from DBJ's Gemini program, Scotiabank's Vision Achievers, Jamaica Observer Food Awards, and of course, the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Excellence in the category of entrepreneurship. Before I proceed any further, I wish to thank my fellow panel of Chief Judges, Mr. Harold Davis from the JBDC, Mrs. Sholette Cox, President of JAMPRO, and of course, Mrs. Gillian Hyde, Deputy Managing Director. Based on our assessment and adjudication, I can safely say that all participating MSMEs have been making phenomenal strides since winning the pitch competition. Prime Minister, Minister, PS, and colleagues, I can assure you that this crop of very deserving and industrious MSMEs have certainly demonstrated that the MSME sector will continue to be the main drivers of our country's economic growth and wealth creation. That being said, and without no further ado, I will now announce the runner-up and winner of the MSME Masters Business Pitch Competition. Colleagues, our runner-up hails from the manufacturing sector, have been in business since 2016, and have truly embodied and integrated into their daily business operations 2 critical components under today's theme, that of linkages and digital transformation, or the use of digital technology to improve efficiency and productivity of their operations. This MSME named their business after their beloved son, as well as they have the digital tools to produce quite a few of their products within less than 3 minutes. This MSME is none other than Jesse's Gifts and Decor.
But before Jesse comes up, we would like to invite our Prime Minister of Jamaica, our Minister of Business, the PS, as well as IDB Group representative. We'd like to invite the 4 of you to the stage to present our gift to our runners-up and to our winner. We'd also like to invite Dr. David Lowe. Can we get another round of applause for this SME, who I know? Congratulations. we'd like to get them in the center. If we can get them in the center between the Prime Minister and the Minister. They would have pitched their business and successfully landed the $500,000. 1 million. 1 million. A milli. Change from 500,000 to a million. And we just want to make it very clear, this is not a loan. This will not be paid back. This is something that we are considering a seed for them to take it and run with it. Look at blessings. Imagine you come and you expect to get $500,000 and all of a sudden you get $1 million.
Our winner hails from the educational services sector and have been in business since 2020. I must say that this MSME epitomizes what it means to be a business-savvy and transformative businesswoman. This MSME is absolutely serious about disrupting our national and regional approach to teaching and learning. And to top it all off, she has been exporting not only her products, but also her services. This MSME is certainly not afraid to take up space, being tough in the boardroom while still remaining gentle and innovative when it comes on to her pedagogy. This MSME is none other than STEM Builders Learning Hub.
Congratulations, STEM Builders! A girl in STEM at that, also an authoress, and she has been empowering so many communities, trying to get a lot of students, especially girls, to pick up STEM. Congratulations, STEM Builders Limited. 1 million. 2 million? All right, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just very excited at this point. So we're going to invite our runners-up to come up to the stage so that we can get a nice photo with both of them. 2 million, 1 million. I was hoping that I'd be able to say, you get $1 million, and you get $1 million, and you get $1 million, and you get $1 million. Thank you so very much to the partners, the sponsors, to the Ministry of Industry, Investment, and Commerce, without whom none of this would be possible. This is what collaboration and partnership and a shared vision looks like. And I'm going to invite Mr. Dwayne Haynes to join the group on the other side. As the chairman of the committee, Doctor in the works. Congratulations. We're so proud. We're so proud. And to all of the other MSMEs who would have become finalists and they were part of the master's business, it is possible that your name might not have been called today, but it does not take away from the value that you offer Jamaica and the community. So So we're going to ask the PM, the Minister, the PS, Dr. David Lowe, and we're going to invite, thank you so very much. We're going to ask you to stay, and then we're going to invite our sponsors, please. Our sponsors who would have been a part of this. Statin, BSJ. Without our sponsors having the shared vision, believing in this vision, none of this would be possible. So we have IDB, DBJ, Heart NSTA Trust, Statistical Institute of Jamaica, JBDC, Bureau of Standards, JIPO, ladies and gentlemen, could we kindly give our sponsors a round of applause? We thank our sponsors and our partners, and our final group would be our heads of agencies. We understand that the portfolio is massive. There are 20 agencies that act on behalf of the Ministry of Business, and we just want to invite those heads of agencies for this final photo. Our PM has to leave, and we understand. Ladies and gentlemen, could we say goodbye to our Prime Minister, who has another engagement? We thank him so very much for his time, his effort, his support. So these are our heads of agencies who made sure that the agents went out, that they met their MSMEs right where they were, assisted them, whether it was protecting the business, protecting the trademark, opening an account, formalizing the business. We want to thank all of our heads of agencies for facilitating. Is everyone smiling? Are we seeing everybody's teeth? And if you are seeing somebody's head back, it means that we can't see you. Say cheese. Thank you so very much. Congratulations to our winners. Instead of $1.5 million given away today, we gave away a whopping 3. At this time, we'd like to invite you to take a break. We have our coffee, and then we will resume for our business sessions. Don't forget to visit the booths of our exhibitors backstage. Mix, mingle, network. It's all about Linkages Day. Take care.